to you. Really awesome here. Welcome to 321 Kiddin. I am very late today. My apologies. I just was ready for a no alarm clock day, and that's exactly what I took. I'm currently supposed to be in a meeting that started 2 hours ago, and I am just having a Bobby's going to do what she wants day. I feel like that's what's kind of been stressing me out a little, is I've been doing so much on other people's timetables and schedules that I think I just need to stop doing that for a little bit and focus on my to-do list instead of trying to maybe be so helpful all the time, because I'm not going to be helpful to anyone if I don't take care of the stuff that I need to do. So I'm kind of reframing it, and today is my first attempt at missing meetings that I normally attend pretty frequently that move the needle in my life and in my business. But it's okay. I guess we'll call it like a mental health day, as if I was still working at a 9 to 5, when you call out where you probably could go, but you just don't want to. That's what today is. And I started my homework this morning for the 30-day miracle challenge that I've been telling you about. And I told you yesterday I didn't have the homework done before I recorded. And I can't even remember what the homework was. Sugar. Yeah, I'm still drawing a blank on it. Because this morning's is we're supposed to write our philosophy. And I have not done that yet, and I have no idea where to start. So I'm not going to be able to tell you what that looks like. I actually took a break and came in here and recorded before writing it out, because I'm not exactly sure what my philosophy is, at least in a formalized sense. So it'll be interesting to see what I write down. But I did do my gratitude and my insights and my forgiveness and all the things that we're supposed to do every day in this challenge. And I don't know why I have this little spiral going on, but it's like, okay, I'm waiting for the shift, and I think I'm paying too much attention for the shift that it's not happening. So I think that checking out for a little bit and just focusing on the stuff I need to focus on will hopefully help me kind of get reset and recentered. And that's kind of what I'm working on. And I'm telling you because I don't know if you're feeling it too, the stress of the holidays, just the longevity of the situation with the world. I don't know. I'm calling a timeout for me, and I hope that you will make whatever decisions are appropriate for you. So here's today's reading. Every moment that I am centered in the future, I suffer a temporary loss of this life. Hugh Prather said, every moment that I am centered in the future, I suffer a temporary loss of this life. Maybe this is part of my problem. For the most part, we find that leaving the present moment for some future projection leads to frustration. Yeah, maybe this is my problem lately. We need to make necessary plans for future events, but idly pondering life's outcome often converts our present into negative experiences. We lose one piece of today in the process, as we risk sabotaging our recovery by igniting fear and anxiety. Old habits can be attractive. We used to feel comfortable worrying about the future or fantasizing about it. This was our escape from an unhappy present, and it ensured that the present remained unhappy. Now that we are facing life in the present, and for the sake of our recovery, we can't afford to abandon this moment. When we remember that this one day is really all we have, live it with a sense of trust and give it our full attention. We are living our lives to the fullest. This is the ever-present gift of recovery that is ours every day. Today, let me live my moment, my only moment, the present. We've talked about this before, and I guess the way my brain and body and mind are working right now, evidently I needed to hear this morning, because this makes a lot of sense. I am worried about 2021 and doing the things and launching my programs and taking care of this and taking care of that. And maybe that's where I'm going wrong, is it feels like I'm just going and not taking advantage of today. So it's a good day to read this especially because we have Zumba on the calendar with my friend Tony, and I want to be present for that. I don't want my brain racing. And that's what it feels like. It feels like my brain has just been racing. So I think I will tell you, I'm supposed to go to my friend's house for dinner on Saturday. So I think I'm going to tell you and commit that I'm going to take Saturday off, at least the best I can. I'm going to take it off of obligation and people and just do what I want to do, which is probably what I'm going to do for most of today. Although I have a couple meetings and appointments, and I'm going to be on somebody else's podcast called Cold Turkey. I haven't met the man yet, but we're doing an interview tonight, and he's from Quebec, it seems. And I got really nervous because usually when I'm on somebody else's podcast, I listen to an episode or two to get familiar with their style and stuff. And when I went, and I usually listen to the intro because that's when people explain what their show's about. Because I want to serve their audience as well. And it was all in French, and I got so nervous. But the recent episodes were in English, so I can communicate that way, which is good. My French is not at any point stellar yet. Hopefully Teresa will teach me. One of my friends lives in France, and I'm hoping that I will pick up enough from her to learn and be good at it. At any rate, sorry, it's all about me this morning, which is part of what I'm not supposed to be doing too, by the way. When we were talking in our coaching group yesterday, and I was talking about this feeling of feeling stuck and maybe a little overwhelmed. That's what the coach said, is like, well, stop thinking about you. Just think about other people and the clarity will come. And it's like, okay, maybe that's it. So that's what I'm going to try to do. You're welcome to think about other people too, if that's what floats your boat. Time is a funny thing. And the more that I learn about it or hear people's different perspectives about it, about how time, like there is no such thing as time, which I am not qualified to speak on, but it's really an interesting perspective that kind of like all time flows together. Again, I can't even teach it after learning it, but it does blow my mind that the future's like already decided. If I decide to think of it that way. Oh, I apologize for my yawning, guys. This is day 2 without coffee again. We'll see how I do. Maybe that's why I slept so late today. Anyway, not understanding how this time stuff works. And it's not that I'm not aware. It's not that I don't tell you. It's not that I don't tell myself. It's not that I don't agree with the fact that we're supposed to be in the present and living in this moment. You heard Patrick and I talk about it, and he gave us, examples like when you're washing the dishes, or, there's just different times we should be present all the time. And I think I lose sight of that with my business mind. Not that that's an excuse, but I'm thinking about the results in the future, and I'm a planner, and I believe in planning. And even in my personal life, I want the RV by such and such a date. I want to know what's going to happen with COVID for my travel plans. I want, I worked on I called my my budget before I left the office was my escape plan budget. So I'm always thinking about the future, and maybe that's what I'm doing wrong, is I'm not really enjoying the fun of everything that's going on right now with learning and growing and developing myself and trying to help other people and do all the things. Or I don't know, maybe all this time that I've been happy-go-lucky pretty much in COVID, maybe I just need to have pissy pants about it. I don't really think that that's the one, because I haven't really had issue with, as far as feeling stranded or locked in or anything, because I've pretty much done what I wanted to do. I would have been locked in anyway, and I still go for walks outside where there's no people, and I have minimal exposure to outside world except for when I was traveling. So I don't know. I think it definitely is maybe more about just, like I said, enjoying the ride. So I'll tell you a story, and I've told you it before, but since Christmas is coming up and since this is the topic, and I apologize, I'm not trying to be just Christmas centric. I believe we're in the third or fourth day of Hanukkah as I say this. So I do wish everyone the happiest of holidays for whatever holidays they are celebrating. This just happens to be a Christmas story. And it has to do with one of my friends that I think he's about a year ahead of me in clean time. So I came in and met him when he was coming up on his year. And one of the stories he shares with us is about Christmas morning and all the years that even though he was physically there, he wasn't paying attention to what was going on. And he has 4 children. And God, I can only imagine what Christmas is like with 4 kiddos, right? Especially when 3 of them are triplets. But he talks about that first Christmas where his, like his head's kind of got out of the clouds from the gambling and he was actually present and there in the moment and enjoying his kids and their responses and the laughter and just doing that. So I guess it's good to be talking about that now as we're leading up to some of these holiday moments. Another I guess facet of that, and I know everybody's probably planning for things, right? Whether it's planning on how to survive the holiday if you have a difficult family, or planning how to just survive the holiday as maybe having to stay home and not travel or break old traditions. There's a lot of stress that's going on right now, but I guess being dialed into how you're feeling as maybe you're wrapping presents or shopping or baking cookies or all the things, right? Like really dialing in and enjoying the experiences. If you're baking cookies just because you have to, I don't think it's going to be as enjoyable, right? Like if you have to for a school bake sale or a party swap or it feels obligatory, it's not going to have the same feeling as if you were rocking out to Christmas music, dancing around the kitchen, just enjoying the smell of the cookies and the action of putting them together and the feel of the dough in your hands and just really immersing yourself in the experience and in the present. And actually cookies is a really good example because they have the smell and the touch and you can see them and decorate them and it doesn't even have to be a holiday to do cookies, but and the sounds of the music, you can be present and do that with anything you do. And that's what I think I need to do. I think I need to change my mind and be present in my work as fun instead of feeling like work is work. And I know how this happens to me is I get snowballing obstacles or things that I think should be easy that are more work or that I have to touch multiple times when I should just be done with it in 5 minutes. Those are things that really frustrate me. And as I sit here talking to you, I'm not being present in them. I end up procrastinating and they end up haunting me and derailing me. So I'm glad I'm talking this through. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here and letting me do my, my daily purge, my spiritual metabolism, he called it. James called it in the class that I'm doing. So, old habits can be attractive. We used to feel comfortable worrying about the future or fantasizing about it. This was our escape from our unhappy present, and it ensured that the present remained unhappy. So when I talk about spirals and cycles, this is it, right? Or a good example of it. And we talk about it in the context of relapse and keeping our buckets full of positive is if we're not, it's real easy to go back to gambling if we want to hang on to the shame and the guilt and the bullshit that has to do with gambling, which is essentially the past. And the past is okay to learn from, but if we dwell in the past, it's almost like we're giving ourselves an excuse to go back in the future. Where back to gambling in the future. Whereas if we're enjoying the present, and let's say that we're not gambling, and we can actually get to that point where we can actually smell the cookies or the fresh cup of coffee. Yep, I'm thinking about coffee as I yawn again. Or the sparkle in your kids' eyes as you watch them open Christmas presents, or whatever the things are, if you're actually experiencing them, the smell of a Christmas tree. There's really a lot of senses stuff around this holiday as I talk about it. I've kind of been a little, I haven't like decorated a house or had a tree. I actually haven't even owned ornaments in about, 6 years, or more. So I haven't done the Christmas things, but they're a good example of being present. They're actually a perfect example, because you'd be present in the moment of doing those things, or you can or should be, versus looking at them as a need to do. And that's the way we could do our life. We can look at things as their obligations and we need to do them, or we can embrace them and have fun and live our best life in the present. It's always a good reminder when this topic comes up. And as I've told you, like, there's days that readings have different meanings to me because of what's going on in my world. And I imagine it's the same for you. We hear what we need to hear, or we hear it a certain way that triggers something, but it usually has to do with what's going on in the present. I wouldn't necessarily think that when I do a reading or a topic comes up that it's all about the feelings that I have in the past related to it. Although sometimes it is. It's really generally what's going on today in the present, which is another reason to be in the present so we can get connected. I interviewed, oh my God, this wonderful lady. I call her my twin because, because she's Colombian and lives in Canada, and, that makes us twins. No, we just have a alignment in our mindset and our love of Colombia. I love it because of the flowers and Zumba, and she loves it because it's her native country. But there's a lot of things we have in common, and I interviewed her last night, and she did a really good job of reminding me to reframe things and to step out of my comfort zone and to do things a little different. And like the example she used, for example, was, if you've always brushed your teeth with your left hand, brush it with your right hand. Like she was practicing that for the last 14 months. I think she started with her right and then switched to her left. And it had to do with breaking the habits. That was kind of the lesson she was sharing with me, breaking the habits of repeating. And it just occurred to me as I was chatting with you, if I switched from brushing my teeth with my left hand to my right hand, I'm going to be completely present in that moment, because it's going to be a shit show of me trying to do it. I can't even imagine how difficult that will be. So now, and I forgot to do it this morning because I'm in a habit. And it's the same premise with our misery or our sadness or our regret or whatever it is around gambling or drinking or whatever, all the things. So the only way to change the habit is, to start somewhere and start doing things different, and being present and looking at the moments that we're in and appreciating them with gratitude and optimism is definitely a good place to start. So that's my whole little rant today on presence. I have to go write my philosophy now as soon as I figure out what it is. I was hoping for an aha moment on that, but that didn't come. So I guess maybe it'll come when I'm writing. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day and that you're being present in all that you do today, or at least be trying to be present, because it's definitely a skill that I think takes some practice. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.